Hello, I am Mike Yerke, the president of IRFA. I want to welcome Governor Kim Reynolds back to the Iowa Renewable Fuel Summit. Many of you are aware of the relentless effort Governor Reynolds has displayed over the last 4 years doing battle with the EPA to protect the renewable fuel standard. Words cannot fully express our deep gratitude for her time and her support. Yet this seemingly nonstop struggle also highlighted the danger of putting too much faith in Washington, D.C. for Iowa's ag and biofuel future. So Governor Reynolds has also pushed for groundbreaking policies here in Iowa, such as a record funding for Iowa's Renewable Fuels Infrastructure Program, which helps retailers update their stations to sell higher blends of biofuels. She even used COVID relief funds to help biofuel retailers who have been harmed by the destruction of fuel demand. And Governor Reynolds was the first governor to provide direct assistance for ethanol and biodiesel producers hit hard by the reduced fuel demand brought about by COVID. There is no doubt that Iowa farmers and biofuels supporters have a true friend in Governor Reynolds. I'm excited to learn what she has on her agenda to keep Iowa #1 in biofuels production and policy leadership. Governor Reynolds, the virtual floor is yours.
Oh, thank you, Mike. And thanks for that very nice introduction. And thank you for your leadership. We appreciate it as well. You know, this is an event that I always look forward to every year. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to keep that tradition going, even if it is through a virtual format. You know, last year when I spoke at the Renewable Fuel Summit, I had just witnessed the signing of the Phase 1 trade agreement between our country and China. And the USMCA was on its way to being ratified with overwhelming Senate support. Iowa's economy was roaring. We had one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country. Incomes were going up and our fiscal health was strong. And not one of us could have predicted the chain of events that was just about to take place. The changes and the challenges we've experienced since last year's summit are almost indescribable, certainly unimaginable. A historic global pandemic halted production of biorefineries, meat processors, and manufacturers. A drought affected 99% of our state. A derecho flattened millions of acres of crops. And as we witnessed grain bins crumble, over 1 million bushels of grain storage was gone. And despite all of this, or maybe because of it, I am so proud to say that Iowa has never been stronger. Our response and our recovery has everything to do with the tenacity of our people, the relationships that we've built, and our ability to come together for the greater good. Like the Iowa Renewable Fuels immediate offer in March to help supply the ethanol and glycerin needed to manufacture hand sanitizer. Iowa Prison Industries navigated the regulatory, logistical, and supply hurdles that were involved with this new partnership. And with technical guidance from Absolute Energy, the Iowa prison industry received its first delivery of ethanol. Western Iowa Energy supplied the glycerin, and Templeton Rye supplied the distilled water, while hydrogen peroxide was sourced from a Des Moines-based chemical supply company. Southwest Iowa Renewable Energy and Green Plains Incorporated soon joined the lineup of ethanol suppliers. And get this, by April 8th, 1 month later, barely, Iowa prison industry had produced more than 10,000 gallons of hand sanitizer, distributed free of charge to the Iowa Veterans Home, our Department of Correction facilities, and our Department of Human Services and Child Care facilities throughout the state. So while I have you all gathered virtually, I want to say on behalf of Iowans, a heartfelt thank you. You know, when people talk about the character of Iowans, this is exactly what they're talking about. And this is just one of hundreds of examples we experienced throughout 2020. The Iowa Renewable Fuels members and our commodity groups, Iowa cooperatives, private industry partners, and our colleagues in Washington collaborated to assess, deliver relief, and develop strategies for long-term recovery. In total, as you indicated, over $110 million in federal CARES funding went to support Iowa agriculture. Of that, $7 million to the Renewable Fuel Retail Recovery Program, which includes 238 projects at 167 retail fuel stations that have been funded. $12 million went to the Iowa Biofuels Relief Fund that helped 23 Iowa biorefineries remain operational. I requested the president utilize the Defense Production Act to keep our meat processing plants open and the food supply chain moving. And we stood up the Economic Recovery Advisory Board that many of your members participated in to ensure future prosperity is widespread and reaches all people in all parts of Iowa. And local emergency managers, all the way up to the administration in Washington, D.C., facilitated federal disaster relief. I'm grateful for the support that we've received from President Trump and Secretary Perdue from their visits to our state soon after the derecho and their continued cooperation as farmers dealt with the widespread drought as well as COVID. But as we move forward, I also look forward to building those same relationships with the Biden administration, highlighting the role that Iowa agriculture plays in feeding and fueling the world, our position as a leader in global exports, and the opportunities for a clean energy future. And that means without hesitation, our continuing fight for a robust renewable fuel standard as laid out in law and rejecting the continued demand destruction caused by the small refinery exemptions. And I will hold this administration and the new EPA administrator accountable for transparent and fair rulings on biofuels, just as I have always done with previous administrations. And we look forward to continuing our work to increase global demand as we look for new markets and rebuilding existing. I know the panel discussion later with Ambassador Branstad, I think will be a great chance and opportunity to explore next steps. As we look forward to this year's legislative session, I am excited to advance policies that will grow the biofuels and ag industry. As the nation's leader in biofuels production, that means making biofuels the clear choice for Iowa drivers by implementing an E10 and B11 fuel standard at Iowa pumps. And any newly constructed and upgraded retail fuel stations install higher blend compatible pumps, and codifying into law my B20 executive order. And to help with our retailers, my budget will include additional funding for our renewable fuel infrastructure program, a $2 million increase, bringing the total to $5 million, and an additional $5 million by reinvesting some of the cost savings from modernizing the fuel retailer tax credits that will go into the renewable fuel infrastructure program that will help accelerate and help fund the installation of higher blend compatible infrastructure. So I look forward to working on those and having this conversation as we move forward to drive biofuels adoption in the state of Iowa. If anything, I think as I wrap up here, 2020 has taught us what we can accomplish and how fast we can do it. What we witnessed was entire sectors of our economy innovate overnight and adapt to survive. And so I'm challenging Iowans to let's take what we've learned and the innovation that's been applied and capitalize that capitalize on that opportunity. And one of the areas that I believe that we can do that is by bringing Iowa out of the broadband deserts and assuring that affordable high-speed broadband is available in every single part of Iowa right now. I'm proposing it's bold and it's big, but that's what it's going to take to make us compatible and to really prepare for the future. A $450 million investment over that time period, which will leverage millions more in private investment, and it will incentivize providers to expand service in areas with the slowest speeds through a tiered system of state matched grants. It's an investment in Iowa's technological infrastructure, and it is as crucial to our communities as running water and electricity, and it's essential for every aspect of our state's future. So what I know without hesitation is that when Iowans come together, we do big things. So my challenge to each of you is not to return to normal, but rather to think bigger, be bolder, and do better. And you can count on me to continue to be a tireless advocate and an unwavering fighter of the biofuels industry and our Iowa agriculture. And it is a great honor to lead a state that's known for feeding and fueling the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Governor. We very much appreciate your remarks. Changes and challenges indeed, and bigger, better, bolder, for sure. Certainly something to strive for. And Governor, if you have just a minute, I'm curious, as you interact with your fellow Midwest governors, what sort of message, the leader that you are, the leader that Iowa is in biofuels, what sort of message are you bringing to those governors and colleagues around supporting higher octane blends and advancing our industry?
Well, I think you'll see there's an interest already from Governor Ricketts, from Governor Parses, especially Governor Nome, and even Illinois. Minnesota has already taken some steps to help drive higher blends. And so I think collectively we have a responsibility. We're better together. And so as I work with my colleagues, we'll encourage them, and they're looking at it, to do similar, to introduce similar pieces of legislation that we'll be working on so that we can continue to be leaders in this industry. And from what we've seen, they're receptive to doing that. So we're going to continue to work with them, continue to the conversation, and look at opportunities to not only do what we're doing in Iowa, but expand that in the Midwest.
Governor, thank you so much. And thank you again for appearing once again at our annual Renewable Fuel Summit. We very much appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great summit.
Thank you.